But a deputy press secretary, Hogan Gidley, has deigned to join us here on set with us today. Hi, Hogan. Great to have you back.
I do, Dane.
Your second time here with us. And I want to start kind of like we did last time, going over just some factual questions sort of quickly here, just to lay some
you
grounds
love the
of
lightning
case.
rounds.
So let me start with security clearances and some of these questions on the Mueller report as well. Bill Barr was at the White House yesterday for an event on the First Step Act. Did he speak with the president?
Not to my knowledge.
So they did not talk about the Mueller report since it's come out?
No, not to my knowledge.
Did Jared Kushner get a clearance even after officials said he should not?
I'm not aware of his level of rank or any type of security clearance for anybody up there because we don't talk about it. We don't talk about him internally. We don't have those conversations, obviously, with the media. And we sure don't talk about the process itself. I mean, the request for these 25 security clearances or the documentation about them is just absolutely ridiculous.
So will the White House cooperate with that request or no?
No, look, these requests are absolutely ridiculous. This is about someone's personal, private, confidential information. There are 4.2 million employees in the federal government, both at the military level and at the civilian level, who have to fill out some of these forms and have some level of security clearance. This precedent would make it possible for members of Congress, anytime they want to make a political point and play political games, to bring that information forward. That is absolutely ridiculous, and we're not going to play that game.
So to be saying the White House will not cooperate. That's a flat no,
we've
right?
been cooperative with Congressman Cummings for a long time. We had a briefing with him on the actual
I get
process.
that, but I'm saying he's asking for documents. Are you going to hand that stuff over or no?
We've had a briefing with him as well and explained to him the process, and he didn't want to hear any of it because all he wants to do is to take these 25 names and make political hay out of them instead of get to the bottom of anything substantive. He wants to try to embarrass top officials, and now we have a Mueller report that comes back with no collusion, no obstruction, a complete and total exoneration, and all they want to do is focus on something to try and embarrass this president and hurt staffers, and we're not going to do it.
I hate to ask you this a third time, but I want to, again, just get the factual basis here. Will you hand over these documents they want or no?
Again, we do not discuss security clearances.
That's not an answer to the question.
We have cooperated with Mr. Cummings, but in this particular instance, what he is doing is unprecedented, and we're not going to play that game.
Okay, sounds like a no to me. Let me ask you about health care, because the White House just last week was insisting the president is going to unveil his plan for health care to Congress, that the health secretary was working on it, and it would happen this year. Now the president overnight says, just kidding, it'll be after 2020 now. Why is he punting?
He didn't punt. What he said was he expected there wouldn't be a vote until 2020 because Democrats are in control of the House and they probably won't bring it up. But he's been very clear about what he wants. Look, Democrats sold Obamacare on a bunch of lies and a bunch of empty promises. Premiums have skyrocketed. People have health care card, but they don't have health care coverage. This president wants to change that, and he's talked about that many times.
But does he have a plan to replace it? We have
to have better coverage. He is working on those pieces with members of Congress. They want to have something in place. But again, he was talking about a vote on it, and that most likely would not come until after 2020.
Okay, so a vote after 2020. So plan before then.
Potentially so.
Potentially so.
I don't have an announcement for you right here, I can promise you.
I was going to say, that's pretty soft language.
Well, the president's been very clear about what he wants, the principles he set forth. We have to right the wrongs of Obamacare, and now we have a court ruling out there that says the thing could be unconstitutional. He has to protect the American people and give families better choices and more control of.
So I get that, but that's an argument Republicans made in 2018, and it didn't work. There's proof that it didn't work.
Too, and swept through the House.
So you're thinking it's going to be the 2010 model, not 2018?
No, but this isn't about Obamacare. This is about coming up with something.
It is about Obamacare.
This is about, even Democrats aren't even talking about Obamacare. They're talking about a complete socialist takeover of the health care system.
That's not the case for all Democrats.
That is 100% Let me ask you this. True. That would kick off 180 million people off of their coverage and make private insurance illegal.
Okay, there's a lot to get into on that piece of it. Not all Democrats believe that, first of all, but I want to ask you about other topics as well, in addition to health care, specifically the president's tweets on Puerto Rico that happened this morning, because I think there's some confusion over them. The president says that Puerto Rico got $91 billion for the hurricane. That's not true. Why is he using that number?
They're getting $91 billion that are in pledges to get.
But that's not what the president says. He says they got $91 billion, and half of that is an estimate on what's to come.
Right, and that money is coming to them. The fact is they have received more money than any state or territory in history for rebuild.
That's not true.
100%. There is nowhere that's
Louisiana got more after that hurricane. That's not a true fact.
They have not come to $91 billion with all we've done in that country. They have had a systematic mismanagement of the goods and services we've sent to them. You've seen food just rotting in the ports. Their governor has done a horrible job. He's trying to make political hay in a political year, and he's trying to find someone to take the blame off of him for not having a good grid and not having a good system in that country.
These are things that are not true, just factually from a factual basis, because in Hurricane Katrina, the recovery effort cost more than what's happening in Puerto Rico, and that is estimated to cost. So let's just lay the facts out here. Let me ask you about another fact here. President Trump says that Puerto Rico is only taking from the USA. That's part of his tweet. I think you and I could both agree that President Trump knows Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens, right?
Correct.
Okay. Does he believe they are not equal U.S. citizens as to folks, for example, in Texas or Louisiana? I would say they're taking from the U.S. when they're part of the U.S.
That's absolutely ridiculous. I was in the Senate lunch where the president addressed this topic, and he told the people of the United States Senate, you need to vote for this bill. Democrats even want more money than we've already given, $600 million more. It's all of our federal relief packages for future budgets as well. You have to vote for that. It protects the farmers. We have to vote for this and provide the money to Puerto Rico.
Okay, but you're not answering the question. The president says Puerto Ricans are taking from the USA. Puerto Rico is part of the United States. People who live in Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens. You're rolling your eyes. And I don't know why you're rolling your eyes, because there's a lot of confusion over why the president would say this and what he understands and how he views the people of Puerto Rico.
That's ridiculous. He's actually already traveled to Puerto Rico after this horrific hurricane. He was there.
And then talked a lot of bad things about Puerto Rico ever since he returned.
He gave them a lot of money. They have mismanaged and misused that money. It hurts their people. That's what he's upset about.
The people of Puerto Rico don't think that it hurts them. They believe that they need to have this recovery.
When there are food, goods, and services sitting in those ports and they're just rotting in the sun, that is a complete mismanagement at the government level.
Why hasn't the U.S., why hasn't the White House dispersed the money that Congress has allocated to help Puerto Rico?
I'm sure we will.
When?
I'm not sure. I don't have a deadline for you, but look, they can't even handle.
Why not?
They can't even handle what we've given them already. They're letting food rot in the ports.
We're going to have to leave it there for a moment, because I do want to ask you about something else that the president has on his mind, which is this border battle, this issue of immigration that he's been focusing on. We actually do have a live report from on the ground there, because there is new pushback, as you know, from Republicans and the business community over this